All right, Freddie, how you doing today?
Hey Eddie, how you doing?
Doing great. Freddie, today we want to talk about your outbound cold calling services so that buyers viewing this service in the Cloutus marketplace can decide whether they want to invite you to an interview for their sales request or not. We have three questions to cover, so let's go ahead with the first one. Who is the best fit for this service offer?
Okay, so pretty much the best fit for this service are the companies that are looking to increase revenue by cold calling customers and then hand it over to the transfer team and then having those leads uh, pass the three stages of uh, being transferred the call and then select bet the customer and then after that just close the customer. Our job is basically validating the information, qualifying questions, making sure that the customer qualifies for the service, and then we transfer the call over. Okay, that's what we do.
Okay, so it sounds like it is an offer that can be used for sales in different scenarios like B2B and B2C. Please confirm that.
That's correct. Yeah, B2B, B2C. We're currently working with US based companies, residential customers, and commercial customers. It doesn't matter which company is requesting the service. As long as they have the leads, we have the manpower to be able to call customers and then transfer over. Basically, a CPL model where we focus more on the lead generation side.
Okay, you did mention earlier that there were a couple of pricing models for the service. So I'll get back to this in a second. But basically, you are saying if you are a company that want to grow revenue and you already have the leads that you want to work, either because you don't have the time, the bandwidth, the headcount manpower, or you want to see if someone else can do it cheaper, they can bring those leads to you. Your team will do the outbound, qualify those leads, and then how do you hand off an opportunity or a client, a potential client that is interested in buying from your clients? How do you hand them off? Is it a warm transfer through the phone? Is it an email introduction? Help us understand that.
A one transfer, pretty much. For example, I have you on the line. Hey Eddie, how you doing? I have here Pedro Perez on the line. He's looking to buy your service. His location is Texas at 0700, and then you can take over the call. Then it could be an example of what we say, or we can say, depending on the requirements of the client. I mean, as long as we present a customer, we select every stages. Hi, yes, I have ABC customer. He right now he's located in Texas or he's located in Florida. His phone number is this, and then his information is this, and then we transfer the call over, and then after that the process will be quicker because they will take that customer from us and they will pass it over to the to the next stage, which is the sale. Pretty much, let's say that we if we transfer 100 customers, let's say that they have the ability to close 20 or 30 customers. If we have good quality, maybe higher. It's just depending of the quality of the leads.
Okay, so it's always like the quality or the speed at which your clients can close those opportunities depends on the leads that they also feed your team, since they're responsible of giving you ideally inbound leads, warmer leads, or if they give you cold leads, then the conversion will be lower. But the main point is the leads are provided by your clients, and you just have the outbound power of calling, qualifying according to your client needs, and then passing over a warm transfer. Perfect. I guess that pretty much enters into the second question, which is what are the components of the service offer? So you're going to use phone as the main channel. Do you use any other channel in the campaign, in the service?
Normally, for the B2C residential customers, the B2C market, we use only phones, okay? Because normally we get more interaction when we're calling residential customers and we normally get DMs on the phone all the time. But it's
Hmm.
different when you have a commercial campaign, right? If you have a commercial campaign B2B, we have to use three different verticals: cold calling, we use email, and also we use LinkedIn. So those are the three components that we use for B2B customers, taking into account that it's more, uh, the approach is different, and it will be more professional to reach customers. Let's say a customer, I call a customer and it went to voicemail. Then after that, I send a quick email, and then after that, I just send a connection request by LinkedIn so I can connect with this customer, taking into account that they don't have the ability to pick up the phone all the time, right? So we have to follow the steps and make sure that we connect as with many DMs as we can.
Perfect. When it comes to platforms and the software that you use to outbound, send emails, make phone calls, do you use your own systems or do you use your client systems? What is typically the case?
Basically, the client will provide us with the credentials. Since we represent the company, they will provide the domain, they will provide the emails, they will provide, of course, the dialer in some cases, right? They will provide us with the phone numbers so we can have everything, in order to represent the company in a good way, right? So let's say a customer right now is looking to dial 50,000 leads, commercial leads. Normally, when you call a commercial lead, you go through the gatekeeper, right? And then the gatekeeper pass the call over to the DM, decision maker, and
Yeah.
then once the decision maker is there, you have the ability to close that customer over the phone, and then after that, send an email, and then, of course, connect with the customer by LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. The last thing I wanted to check here in terms of people, you mentioned that you are going to be representing your clients. Where do you source the talent? What can your clients expect? Who is going to be representing them? What level of English? What type of talent? What's their experience?
Basically, the requirements of the client: if the client is requesting a high English level speaker, we recruit C1 English level native speaker. And if it requires a regular or basic English, it could be B2 candidates. And we have a strong vetting process. So we don't hire normally anybody for the campaign. We actually do a vetting process with our team internally, where they have to pass two different filters to be able to be hired from Alternative Business Communication. So that's how we secure that people that are going to be hired, they are completely 100% capable of doing the job that is required by the clients.
Got it. So now that we're talking about like hiring people to set up the account, we're getting closer to the last question that I have, which is what can a client expect in the first 120 days of buying this service? Walk me through an onboarding process. How does that look like?
Perfect. Let's say that you have a company right now. We sign the agreement together, and then we start the vetting process the following day. Let's say tomorrow we start the vetting process. We post everything on the social media to recruit the candidates with the qualifications that the client is looking for.
Mhm.
Okay. Once we select those clients through different platforms, um, they have to pass those filters the next week, the first filter and the second filter. And then as soon as we select those candidates, we are sure that they have, you know that they have the skills that the client is looking for. So in other words, you can expect from the very first day of the service that our company is going to work through all the stages to make it successful. Also, as soon as we start dialing, you can expect results from the very first day. So I can talk about the average, and we've been opening many campaigns at the same time, and we have the same results because it is the same structure, the same process.
Interesting. So results from day one, and I believe that's obviously a product of the quality of the leads, as you mentioned earlier, that you receive from your clients. If you get very good warm inbound leads, the likelihood that you the day that you start calling could convert some of those or transfer those and convert them into opportunities. Now, from the moment you typically sign a contract with a client to the moment where you typically start dialing, how much time frame are we looking at?
1 week for the hiring process, vetting process, and then the following week they start dialing. So pretty much a couple of weeks to get ready for depending of how many what's the head count or how many representative does the company is looking for or how many leads we need to cover to be able to transfer enough leads to the buyer. Okay, so depending of the qualification and the requirements, I would say between 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks to go live. Perfect. And I think my last question here, bringing back an earlier point around the pricing model, you mentioned CPL as in cost per lead, so pay per performance model. But I understand you also offer this service in another model, which would be a retainer model. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, so on the retainer model, someone could hire just the number of reps that you assess they're going to need based on the volume of leads that they want you to process. And on the cost per lead, do you have a minimum package, a minimum order, or an onboarding fee that they need to pay on any of the two services, any onboarding fee or minimum package?
When it comes to the CPL model, we don't request any implementation fee because we know 100% that from the very first day, our company is going to generate a structure to be able to generate the revenue, enough revenue to cover all the operating expenses for the company. Now, in the other S scenario, when it comes to managed teams, then we charge a flat fee per month per representative, depending of once again the level of English that they are looking for, if it's C1 English level, if it's B2, or if it's a regular B1. Anybody
Okay.
can answer the phone. But the idea is to be able to have the best communication and the service. And once again, we focus as a company in the quality. We know that the quality is key for every company, right? As long as the quality stays in place, the campaign stays for a long time.
Okay, perfect. Now help me understand another detail around coming back to the price of the cost per lead. Is there a minimum order, as in the volume of leads that like I wouldn't like you wouldn't entice an opportunity for, I don't know, less than 1,000 leads a month, or what type of minimum order do you have for that service?
Normally, a day we generate anywhere from 50 to 100 available calls a day, depending on how many representative. Once again, that's key because the target have to be minimum 3 transfers a day per representative.
Okay. All right, so we can use that as a minimum expectation, 3 transfers a day, and the number of leads required to do that. Ideally, your clients, since they're providing the leads, should already have a little bit of an estimate of how many leads are they converting on average, so they can bring the business to you, and ideally see some efficiencies, better conversions, more outbound, and more sales. Awesome. I think that's everything. Is there anything else you would like to share at this moment around the service, the ideal audience for this service, um, or the way the service is delivered? Any guarantees, any minimum terms?
Well, the guarantees here is that you're dealing with experience management. You're dealing with people that have a lot of experience in the industry, pretty much lead generation in sales. And if you're a company and you're looking to buy, or if you're looking for a service that is going to help you increase the revenue for your company, then reach out to us immediately and let's say, hey, listen, I need cold callers, I need people to outreach this type of clients. Let us know what are the requirements. Once again, we handle business and also we handle residential audience. So you name it, we make it happen, and then we go from there.
Awesome. B2B, B2C. Now, regarding the performance guarantee, I believe you do have something. I've heard this before around in the cost per lead model, that if once you do the transfer, if it's below a certain number of seconds, your clients don't pay for those transfers. They have to actually
Right.
hold the conversation. Can you remind me what's that threshold?
All right, perfect. So when it comes to the CPL model, the CPL model is something very practice for the clients because it will guarantee that you will have at least 3 to 5 minutes with the customer on the line to be able to have that ability to stay in communication with the customer and be able to sell and close this customer. So the minimum is 180 seconds to 210 seconds for every single billable call. And then of course, our average, or we call it ACL per call, it will be around 9 to 10 minutes per call. So let's say that if we transfer, for example, an average of 1,500 phone calls a month, let's say you have an average of talking time like 9 10 minutes with the clients, that will generate a lot of opportunities, I'm sure, for many of the companies that are looking for people, hot leads or hot transfers. We call it like that because you have that ability there, right there. You have that ability to close the customer. You don't have to wait for the customer to reply by email. You have that customer on the line. Either you close the customer or the customer close you, and the reason why they don't want to buy the product. So
Excellent. I think this is an interesting guarantee, and I wanted to highlight it because a lot of the times the fear when it comes to buying a pay per meeting program is in the quality of the lead. And sometimes a lot of the leads that these buyers are receiving, those are leads that hang up around the call for maybe 30 seconds. I don't know what this call is about. I'm not sure who this company is. I never signed up for this. They hang up, but that's a call that they were already billed for. So it's interesting that in your model, unless it passes a certain threshold and it becomes, let's say, a conversation, it wouldn't be considered a billable conversation, a billable lead. Perfect,
yes,
Freddie.
one
All
final
right.
thing, and
Yep.
one final thing is that we also have a tracker, or you call it a software that will track all the billable calls and all the traffic from you. So you will have that ability to check exactly what is our quality as a company. So everything is there for your review. And then if you have any feedbacks, you can call us anytime and we will address it immediately. Okay.
It's like a performance dashboard where they can see the amount of calls, the length of the calls, which ones have been converted into a transfer, leads that you have worked, etc. So you have activity, as in how many outbound calls and leads you have worked, but also conversion as to out of these 100 calls, how many turn into a transfer. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Freddie, thank you very much. Thank you so much for providing more details about alternative business communications so that buyers viewing this service offer in the CloudTools marketplace can decide whether they want to invite you for an interview for their request or not. I'll catch you next time, Freddie. Have a
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Have a good one.